Carlos Sanchez, George get the nod at center for Central Michigan. Now they go to Kaylin Mill, and then for Nittany Lions, go to a bit more defensively, a bit more small ball to at least start this match.
Definitely a tale of two different strategies, and like you mentioned, I think that had to do with what we saw earlier this weekend with their matches against Princeton. I think they saw what worked, what didn't work. Penn State, like you said, 5 sets, so they had to change some things up, and Central Michigan as well getting the loss. So here they are trying to battle this one out on the Sunday matchup.
Michigan State in their maroon and gold uniforms, libero Lena Anderson in the mostly gold uniform. Penn State rocking a bit, Central Michigan rocking a bit more of a throwback look, but what they were doing at the beginning of last year. So no blue sleeves, just kind of the sleeveless all white uniforms. Allie, any final thoughts?
Yeah, it's just the white uniforms, the white sleeves with the stripes on the side. You see the libero there in all blue, but that was the new uniforms last year. Certainly worked out well for them in 2024, but we'll have to see how it works so far today.
Central Michigan 3-8. As we mentioned earlier, they're trying to snap a 4-game losing streak and play some tough competition before heading out to Penn State. They played Michigan, another Big Ten school. They got swept by the Wolverines. And Penn State 5-4, 2-2 at home, trying to bounce back after some tough ranked losses and gain some confidence before Big Ten play, which starts for them on Friday. MAC play around the corner as well for the Chippewas. Ava Faldudo sends it off, and let's rock and roll from Happy Valley. Addie Lyons straight ahead for Maggie Mendelson. And the senior middle blocker gets the first points of the afternoon, 1-0 Penn State.
Maggie Mendelson set that one down hard. I was watching her in practice earlier today, and she was hitting all the right spots, and she was able to do that there for the first point.
She's truly a force to be reckoned with out of the middle, the second-year Nittany Lion. A swing from Raymond at the midpoint. Falduda setting for Selman. Sent back and out of play. A great job by Hannah Langton and Keelan Mill on the far pin to tie it up at 1.
They were able to put the pressure, and I think that's something that's really going to be important for them to start things off. Central Michigan has to play hard, and they have to just be on that defense, constantly setting up things at the net to hold on the pressure.
Selman was kind of boxed into a corner at the pin. Awkward swing from Selman. Off the hot hands is Swears. Candy Martin, she'll get her first kill of the afternoon. She had 29 of those in that 5-setter against Princeton, her season high as an Nittany Lion.
She certainly has been coming into her own this season. I think earlier this weekend has really been telling of that, like you said, against Princeton. She's been on fire so far, so we'll see if that continues today.
Swears had to back up, Faldudo underneath it. And a point for Penn State after a net violation. 3-1 blue and white early on.
That's something Central Michigan has to avoid, especially early on, is just giving away those free points for Penn State, who's going to try to have their pressure all the way through.
Libero Jillian Grimes serves it off. Backing up is Taylor Kripe, sent back, but kept in the air by the Chippewa defense. Lion back sets for Martin. There'll be a point for the Chippewas that rolled off the net and out of play and into your arms.
I just put my hands up. It was coming too fast for me to try to catch it, so I kind of just, try to set it over my head into the stands. This is why I'm not a setter.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're not trying out for the team?
That's the second time today. That happened in practice as well.
And a big ace from Taylor Kripe, beating Jillian Grimes on that back row. Taylor Kripe, the freshman of Goodland, Indiana. An outside hitter at 5'8". Don't see that too often.
Not really, and I was looking at Central Michigan. They don't seem to have the height that Penn State does, but as you take a look, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, back-to-back aces, and Central Michigan has the lead. Something that Coach Ariel Wilson was talking about with us in media about Taylor Kripe, that what she lacks maybe in size comparatively makes up for in the power and grit that she shows on the court.
I mean,
she'll send it in the net this time, though.
You take a look at her swings, even that one going into the net was just so powerful. It hit the net so hard. She shows what she can do when it goes over.
And Not often do you see a lot of players doing top serves in the women's game, but if you can do it well, it can be very effective. Candy Martin sends it long though, so Central Michigan out to a 1-point advantage early in set one. Trying to get their first set win of the weekend. They were swept by Princeton yesterday in a pretty dominant showing from the Ivy League tournament runners-up from last year. Martin from the midpoint and got it down just on that near side line. Perfect placement.
It certainly was. She's hitting her spots, and that's something that Penn State does excel at. They're really good at hitting that just in the corner or down the line. Those balls can be just so hard to get for their opponents.
Caroline Jaravicius checking into the game for Ava Faldudo. So getting the hitter nod over Alexis Ewing. Give an ace for Penn State. Emmy Selman behind the line gets it done. She'll go back to serve once more in a 6-5 Penn State lead. Selman, the 6'4" sophomore, former Ohio State Buckeye. Again, tough receive from the Chippewas. Mills sends a free ball. Recycled, Lyon back setting to Jordan Hopp, and a bit of miscommunication that the Chippewas will take 10 times out of 10.
Absolutely, and Mill did just a great job of making sure that ball got over, making sure that she didn't get into the net herself, and just giving her team an opportunity to keep playing, and it worked out for her.
Mill getting the setter starting nod. There'll be a service error for the Chippewas, and that was something that plagued them yesterday against Princeton. They had 13 service errors just to Princeton's 3, and while coaches might say that errors aren't the worst thing in the world, when you have that big of a margin, it does add up.
It certainly does, and it's those almost free points that both sides need to eliminate to try to just force their opponent to try to make a mistake instead of just giving them a point.
There's another service error that ties it up at 7. Central Michigan hitting triple zeros, Penn State hitting 286 early on. Out of the back row is Martin. And going the opposite way is Natalia Raymond. And the senior Ada Poland gets on the stat sheet.
Back and forth play so far in Central Michigan, really just having some power on both their serves and just hits across the net. I think Penn State is struggling a little bit just to combat that.
Raymond after the kill goes behind the line. Running up is Jaravicius. Got it through the block, but it's kept off the floor. Kripe with a big swing, and the block lands out of play. Chippewas coming out, showing out, and playing with some grit here in set one.
They really are. They know who they were up against, and they practice well, and now they're putting that practice into action.
Mendelson off the slide. And that's what the Penn State middles do best. Maggie Mendelson with her second kill on her second swing. Ends a 3-0 scoring run for Central Michigan.
And Penn State so far just 2 players with 2 kills. Central Michigan still looking for their player to 2 kills, just 2 across the board.
And Addie Lyon gets a service ace. Addie Lyon had 2 aces against Princeton. Also had 51 assists against the Tigers. That's her season high. So both sides have 2 aces early in this contest. Off the slide was Grace Thomas. Penn State keeps it off the floor. Big swing from Jaravicius. Kripe gets down to get it. An attack error by the Chippewas gives Penn State a 1-point lead. And they're the first to double digits.
And going back to Addie Lyon, that's now the 4th straight match that she has at least 1 ace in.
Her 7th on the season as well. Thomas tries to go on the slide, set back. Caroline Jaravicius with the solo stop.
Tough pressure there by Caroline Jaravicius. She was due for a big play like that, and she did it all herself. Just coming in big for Penn State.
Jaravicius, the redshirt sophomore out of Cleveland, Ohio, give it a 4-0 scoring run for the Nittany Lions. almost an ace from Lyon. Kripe tried to shove it through the block. Unsuccessful, so Penn State keeps their train rolling.
They certainly do. Now a 5-0 scoring run, and we're going to take a timeout here.
Central Michigan calls a timeout. We'll take one as well. You're watching the Penn State Classic on Big Ten Plus. Penn State on top of Central Michigan here on Big Ten Plus. Take a look at the series history. First meeting between the two since 1994. Penn State leads it all time 4-0. Penn State all time against the Middle American Conference, 43-3, and they've played every MAC team but one. Allie, who's the one they haven't played?
Eastern Michigan. Who did you tell me earlier?
Hey, you're not supposed to say that. It was Eastern Michigan.
Caught me off guard. There's so many Michigans.
There are a lot of directional Michigan
in the
schools.
break that you had me questioning.
Western Michigan, the NCAA hockey national champion. So
yes.
Not getting on the national stage, but it's a service error from Addie Lyon that gets a point for the Chippewas out of the Ariel Wilson timeout.
And going back to their history, Penn State has lost just one set all time against Central Michigan, which came in the first ever match between the two teams. So close one here, though. Central Michigan certainly has a chance to change that.
Chippewas not going down early. They'll get another point off the miscommunication. Lyon was trying to get it to Maggie Mendelson. Jillian Grimes points to the sweepers on the floor here at Rec Hall to clean up some sweat. We'll get back underway. Of course, the unsung heroes here at Rec Hall.
Of course. They're crowd favorite as well.
They are, as they should. Grace Thomas, the sophomore middle blocker, serves it off for the Chippewas. Lyon sets for Martin. Under it is Langton. Wright takes the swing. A beautiful coffin corner kill for the freshman.
Absolutely. Chippewas just chipping away one at a time, keeping it close, keeping Penn State on their heels.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Quite the wordsmith, Allie Winskowski.
Not usually, but sometimes we'll pull one out. But as we wait to get set here, back tied, and Jack, I mean, lots of tied scores so far.
Yes, a 3-0 run for Central Michigan. Not wanting to let set one slip away. Selman backs up Grimes. Net play started for the swing by Martin, and Taylor Kripe sends it way long.
Kripe almost hitting the cheerleaders and the band back there again. So much power on that, just not inside the court.
There's a few tubas at the top row. Do you think Kripe could hit one in there?
Do you think a volleyball could fit in a tuba?
Have you ever tried?
No.
I was just wondering.
Well, it's certainly possible with the Chippo's strength.
Valdudo, tough serve. Kripe again sends the free ball. Back set to Martin, got it through the block. It all started with Taylor Kripe kind of being out of position. She had to back up to get it. They're asking the freshman to take a lot of out-of-place skills.
They really are, and I think just being agile for both sides, trying to place it where the others are not standing, and Penn State is really good at watching their opponents during the play and placing it correctly.
Central Michigan stops the overpass from Mendelson, and Kripe can't send it down the line, so Penn State extends their lead to 3.
Gripe just didn't have the correct angle on that. She had the right idea, but execution was just a little bit too harsh of an angle to hit down the line.
Gripe hitting triple zeros, 2 kills, but 2 attack errors. Shoving it through was Abby Olin. Selman looking for hands and won't get it. So Central Michigan gets 1 point back.
Grimes, good dive on her part during that play, but just a little bit too off the mark for that corner to hit.
Puts the setter, Keelan Mill. Slow speed, Selman gets underneath it. And Mendelson out of the middle. That was the theme of kind of later on in the game against Princeton for Penn State, with the middle blockers and Mendelson and Jordan Hopp really getting going as the match went on.
It really was, and we saw almost the same exact hit from Maggie Mendelson earlier tonight already. Seems like that's the side of the ball she likes to hit on.
Big shot from Kripe, and the overpass went out of play. Staying true to Ariel Wilson's word about the power that Taylor Kripe possesses in her right arm.
We've really been talking about the power and the strength and just how hard hit these balls are. But again, on the opposing side, when a ball's coming that hard at you to the other side, sometimes it's just way too hard to even send it back over successfully because you hit the ball, it goes over, and it's out of bounds.
Martin's second time's the charm on that rally, extends the lead to 3 for the Nittany Lions. Kenny Martin up to her 4th kill tonight.
She now leads the Nittany Lions in kills as well, hitting 333.
Another stoppage. A lot of work for the grounds crew early on.
There certainly is. You certainly usually see them out quite a bit per match, but I'd say it's been a lot so far.
Not
just for
usually
the first
this
set.
early. I was
Yes.
going to say, first set, you don't see it as often. So Martin goes behind the line. She has a service error so far today. For the swing from Raymond. And a swing over by Selman. Right idea, just wrong placement that time, and Central Michigan cuts it to 2.
And good job by Kripe to get that serve, and it was hard hit, but she was able to keep it up in the air. And again, sometimes that's all you need to do when receiving.
Abby Olin, the redshirt senior, serving for the Chippewas. She'll get an ace, she'll find the back row. And the first team All-MAC from 2024 gets an ace to her name.
Excellent placement on that. She was just able to find the back row, and Penn State thought it was going out, but it's those tricky ones that can just squeak in on the line.
Jordan Hopp off the slide. Great control on that near pin. Jordan Hopp gets kill number 1 today.
I said it early on, but Penn State bringing the total team effort that they're going to need to push this one through. Now Central Michigan still close, but relying on only 1 or 2 players so far in the kill department.
Raymond goes off speed, and it will be against Penn State violation. That gives Central Michigan another point. They're just within 1. Late in set 1, they are hanging around.
And Jack, I mean, you look at the score, 18-17, so close, and Central Michigan was hitting in the negatives, now hitting straight zeros.
Just hitting negative 0.59 to Penn State's 238. Martin at the back row. At the net, good dig from Selman. Martin again. Good luck stopping that. Kennedy Martin, full throttle, full power. Kill number 5 for number 18 in blue and white.
Kennedy Martin, we said it in the open, but still bringing it. She's on a hot streak so far. You take another look at that one, she just sent it right down into the floor.
Nothing that a libero, Alina Anderson, could do.
No.
Thomas, awkward placement on the slide. Martin through the block, pancake by Anderson, but no one was there to back her up. Kennedy Martin doing what Kennedy Martin does best.
And Alina Anderson laying it all out, seemingly getting it somehow, but just barely off the floor, and there was nothing her teammates could do.
Central Michigan will use their final timeout of the set. We'll step aside here on Big Ten Plus. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Rec Hall. Let's take a look at the coaches for either side. First, the Central Michigan Chippewas, a Penn State legend in head coach Ariel Wilson, four-time national champion, three-time All-American, replacing Mike Golick, who took an assistant role job with the Grand Rapids Rise of the Pro Volleyball Federation. First time that she's been back at Rec Hall as a coach, has been assistant and a recruiting assistant at a few schools and on the side of the Nittany Lions. The reigning national champion, head coach Katie Schumacher-Cauley in her fourth season. Another national champion with Penn State as a player, winning one back in 1999, the first for the program.
And it was certainly great to see just the interactions pre-match. Ariel Wilson getting the crowd recognition that she deserved, an standing ovation for her, and then when they came together, just a hug at the net to show off some solidarity.
Wilson also played with assistant for Penn State, Megan Hodge, easy, of course, a part of that 109-match win streak. McKill had the timeout for Grace Thomas, so they'll cut the lead to 2. But going off that for Ariel Wilson in 2009, she had 186 blocks on the season, the second most all-time in a single year in Penn State history.
Which is so impressive, and it's just so great that she is able to come back and just be welcomed by the Nittany Lion crowd, obviously as an opponent, but still such good faith, hugs all around, and they even took a photo pregame, all the coaches together.
Swing from Raymond, through the hands, but Martin backs him up. Over pass from Jira Vicious. Lyon tries to set her up, she'll get the setter up. Addie Lyon, and she gets more comfortable in this Penn State system, not afraid to get a bit aggressive at times.
She certainly is a Penn State player to watch. She's really been coming into her own, whether it's at the service line or just doing her job when she's midcourt.
That was something that Penn State had with the freshman of the year in the AVCA, Izzy Stark, last year, where it was kind of almost like at times having an extra hitter out there, how aggressive she was, how offensive-minded she was. And Addie Lyon is starting to get there, not afraid to participate in a block, participate in a center dump. They have a timeout on the chorus to stop it and to looking something over.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you. I think her confidence is really starting to show, especially as Penn State is moving through their schedule, and that's exactly what they need as they're starting to face tougher and tougher opponents and then Big Ten play as well. But she's come into the role a little bit unexpectedly, but she did a great job so far.
Yeah, 4 of their next 5 opponents were ranked in the preseason. USC on Friday, then it's UCLA on Sunday, quick turnaround. Then they play Nebraska, number 1 in the country, then go on the road to College Park to play Maryland, and then back to Rec Hall to play Wisconsin, another top 10 team. So a lot of tough competition, but that's what you expect when you play in the Big Ten. Half the conference made the tournament. They had 9 bids.
Yeah, it's a really tough conference to play in, and I don't think that gets enough credit for any of the teams in there. It's not just like playing against anyone in the country. You're playing against the best of the best, but that's why every single match counts, and I think it makes teams that aren't in the Big Ten but who have to play Big Ten teams like the Chippewas today just better because they're facing harsher competition.
It does, and I think there's a mindset throughout all the coaches we talked to. We spoke with a few guys that are in the mid-majors and come to Penn State to play, where a lot of it is we understand the level of talent we're playing. We're playing a Power 4 school, a school in the Big Ten, one of the best volleyball conferences, statistically best one, as they're the reigning national champions in Penn State. But they say, we have to kind of match the energy, match the aggressiveness that these schools have. They truly understand the assignment and understand who they're up against. They want to play their brand of volleyball, but also recognizing who's on the other side of the net.
Absolutely, and Central Michigan's doing a great job so far matching their opponent. They're playing with ferocity and just able to get those big hits and getting another point there.
Get off the net violation. It was against Maggie Mendelson. A bit too much of a reach. It's Grace Thomas behind the line, the reigning MAC all-freshman team nod and second teamer in the conference. Sophomore out of Dublin, Ohio, who hit .400 against Princeton yesterday. Big swing from Jaravicious, and she'll get it down. So that'll go down as her first kill on her fourth swing. She has a block to her name as well. Jaravicious hit .333 against Princeton, tied her third best hitting percentage in a single game of the 2025 campaign. Another Big Ten all-freshman. At the middle was Olin. Line was underneath it. Kripe sends it long. Penn State now just 2 away from taking the set 1 victory.
And Lyon laying out, barely just getting one hand under the ball, but it was enough to keep the ball up and allow her teammates to help her out.
Free ball from Raymond, and Martin tried to slam it. Couldn't do it though.
Martin tried to get a little bit sneaky there, just trying to send it a little bit of an angle over the net, but unable to get enough power, slamming it back into herself.
And just showing her height as well. She's 6'6", barely has to jump to get it over the net most times. Otherworldly talent from the 2-time AVCA All-American. And Kripe sent back. Martin gets redemption. She joins Maggie Mendelson on the block, and it brings up a Penn State set point. Jillian Grimes to serve for the Nittany Lions. 10 aces on the season. An ace in 7 of the 9 games that the Nittany Lions have played. And a good placement from Izzy Swears. The outside hitter gets her first kill. That was a great placement, able to psych out Addie Lyon on the front line.
Yeah, just changing up the speed of the ball and just dumping it over sometimes like that with a good angle can help out your team tremendously.
Hop sent back. Swing from Selman. Raymond gets sent, rejected by Hop and Martin. That makes it a set 1 victory for the Nittany Lions, 25-21. It was gritty at times with the play to get set 2 underway, but Grace Thomas will be serving it off for the Chippewas. She has 1 kill on 4 attacks. Also a dig to her name as one of the starting middle blockers for Central Michigan. And Jaravicious gets sent back. Abby Olin on the block, the MAC first teamer last year, has an ace in this match. Was 5th in the conference last year in hitting percentage at .358.
And the net certainly did not help the Nittany Lions on that one. The ball just rolling across the top of it.
Martin sets it for Jaravicious at the midpoint and got it through the block. Wasn't that hard of a hit, doesn't matter for Caroline Jaravicious.
As long as you can find a way through the hands, you're setting yourself up for success. You take a look at this, I mean, once it goes through the block, then your team has to rely that there's somebody in the middle, and that's not necessarily always the case.
Tied at 1, set 2, Penn State with a 1-0 match lead. At the net, Maggie Mendelson wins those battles more times than not.
I think her height comes into play there again, just a little bit of a hop, and she's able to push it just past.
See what we did there with the hop?
I didn't even try that time.
Operating in the flow state right now is Allie Winskowski, and Ava Valdudo gets an ace. Valdudo, her first ace of the match, her 7th of the season. Penn State was 2nd in the Big Ten last year in service aces with 203, Valdudo 34 of those. Awkward play at the net from the Chippewas. Kripe off the hands, under it's Grimes. Kripe pushed it through the block, but that was Olin. And she gets the campfire kill.
Again, just touching it through or over the block leads to a lot of empty space there, because usually the players aren't set up to be behind the block, considering they're hoping the block works.
That's kind of the traits of a good hitter, whether you're a blocker or an outside or a right side, is, yeah, everyone can go full speed and hit it as hard as you can, but it's about, finding when to go at the different tempos. That's something that Jess Merzick was great at last year for Penn State. Helped her be the tournament most outstanding player. One-hand punch dig from Faldudo, free ball from Selman. And a great dump from Keelan Mill.
I think as the match goes on, you also start to see more of the off speed or the dumps here or there, the trick plays, just to try to change it up. Because as the two teams start to play and get through the match, they start to learn each other's tendencies, and so you have to change it up to try to get some success.
And Mill gets an ace. So that's the 4th ace for Central Michigan to Penn State's 3. 2 of them from Kripe, 1 of them from Abby Olin, and now another one for Keelan Mill, the starting center. Second-year Chippewa, former Idaho Vandal. Martin off the hands and gets the kill. So that ends a 3-0 scoring run for Central Michigan. Ties it back up at 4 in set 2.
And we're starting this set very similar to how we started the first set.
I think I've seen this movie before.
Just put it on replay.
No, you're watching it live here on Big Ten Plus. Olin sent it into the net, but kept up by Penn State. Great dig from the joint effort of Mill and Anderson, and they'll get another one.
Anderson,
great defensive play.
Yes, Anderson really put her all into that one, whether it was on purpose or pure self-defense, but it worked out, and the Chippewas have the lead.
You could put some pinball sound effects over that one. Top serve from Taylor Kripe. Here comes Selman, straight down. Penn State gets even once more.
Selman showing that when she hits her spots, she hits them really hard, and her opponents better watch out.
I think Penn State looking for a bit more consistency out of her. She's still hitting in the negatives. Had 11 kills against Pitt. It's usually because of a lot of attacks, not maybe really because of efficiency. Selman, just a bit far.
There was some miscommunication for the Nittany Lions on that play near the middle. It seemed like no one knew who was going to bump it up, so something for Penn State to work on as Central Michigan keeps it close.
Only 11 points in. Selman into the net. So back-to-back miscues for the Nittany Lions, and Alexis Ewing will check in for the blue and white. She'll come in for Emmy Selman. She got the starting nod against Princeton, and the freshman, 6'4" out of Bethesda, Maryland, comes in for Penn State. Someone that head coach Katie Schumacher-Colley is very high on, just as a first year in Happy Valley. Martin out of the back row, and that's how you solve some of your problems.
It certainly is, and like you mentioned it, Alexis Ewing, only a freshman, but seeing plenty of playing time so far. Being subbed in can just help you a little change of momentum as she'll come out now.
So Faldudo comes in, or comes out, Jaravicius goes in, Jocelyn Nathan is the substitute for Alexis Ewing. So now 2 littles on the court. The junior out of Wilmington, Delaware. And a center dump from Keelan Mill, and she is fired up.
That was a really good heads-up awareness play by her. Take another look at it, but I mean, Central Michigan, I think that's been the story so far. They've been using those little dumps over, but it's really just that volleyball awareness, knowing where the Nittany Lions are on the court and playing against that, and it's really worked.
There's absolutely no one in the center of the hardwood. Great placement, great awareness from Keelan Mill, who's had 7 games this season with 300+ hitting at 250 for the moment. Guiding one, and through the block is Izzy Swears. Kind of the first hard hit kill we've seen out of number 1 in maroon and gold.
Absolutely, and I just think, going back to my earlier point, that is the difference between a good and a great player, is being able to change up your plan mid-play depending on where your opponents are standing or how they're set up.
Give it an ace as well. So everything coming up right for the Chippewas. So Swears, after getting the kill, gets an ace to her name.
Swears is one of those players for the Chippewas you can just never count out. The starter just so powerful, and she's always a dangerous threat.
Only had 1 kill against Princeton yesterday, but she'll send it long. Grimes lets it go, and Penn State gets a point back. That's not how you want to get your points if you're Penn State, but you'll take it any way you can get them.
You certainly will, especially into the second set.
Puts the middle blocker, Jordan Hopp, behind the line for the Nittany Lions. Mill shoves it forward. Off speed is Raymond. Line to Jaravicius. She is operating very well on that near pin. Caroline Jaravicius ties it at 9.
What a combination there, too. Just so powerful. Set it up perfectly for her, and she placed it down slamming.
That one was smoked. Backing up is Swears. Lyon and Nathan working the defense, and Kennedy Martin cleans it all up.
Kennedy Martin able to find that back corner in the first set. Now she's able to do it in the second as well.
Great job from Jocelyn Nathan getting it to Lyon, then Lyon kind of no look setting it up to the middle of the net. Kennedy Martin just does what Kennedy Martin does best. Mill on the back set. Caught the defense off guard. Grace Thomas off the slide.
The off speed there, I think, really just confused Penn State. I mean, you see it there again. It was just so slow that her hands up really just couldn't even keep the ball in the air.
That's one of the characteristics of a great setter, is you can kind of really fool the defense without even looking at where you're going to place the ball. Martin barely over the net. She'll dive for the dig. Here comes Jaravicius. Back at it. Caroline Jaravicius getting hot inside Rec Hall.
She's coming alive. She's finding that back row, and she's making the Rec Hall fans clap.
And she's won after having 14 kills, was the MVP of the match against Kansas out in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Hit negatives in both of the games in Pittsburgh. That matchup against Arizona State and TCU. Addie Lyon sends it long, but great to see Caroline Jaravicius gaining a bit more confidence back in her home.
Absolutely, and I think that's what she needs. I mean, Penn State looks a lot different from the team they were last year. She, being one of the returners, coming back and now just being able to find her own again with some new players is huge.
Easy as 1, 2, 3 for Kennedy Martin. Go back to your point on Jaravicius. She led the team in kills among the returners. So out of the seniors that graduated, or the not counting Selman or Martin that came into the program this year as their first season, Jaravicius led that. The Big Ten All-Freshman last year, the former Nebraska Cornhusker. And Mendelson sends back the Central Michigan offense.
She is all smiles. You saw it on there. She's fired up going into that huddle after that point.
Maggie Mendelson straight down. 6'5" out of North Ogden, Utah. Net play, and the Penn State Nittany Lions win that one. Martin and Mendelson clean it up.
Bit of confusion there for the Chippewas. I mean, brick wall at the net, but again, once you get past that wall, just a little bit too tall, there's nobody there.
No, that was started by Alexis Ewing, the freshman, able to redirect Keelan Mill. Timeout on the court by Coach Ariel Wilson. We'll step aside on Big Ten Plus. You're watching the Penn State Classic from Happy Valley. Welcome back to Rec Hall, the Penn State Classic. The Lorax speaks for the trees, and they speak for the Penn State fans.
I have no words, John.
I have no words. It's part of the fun. But taking a look at the Penn State Classic, started in 1980, a regular tournament in non-con play for Penn State. Penn State all-time 128-4. They rarely lose in their own house. They hold a 20-match win streak that they added to on Friday against Princeton in a marathon 5-setter.
Absolutely. I think Penn State comes into the Penn State Classic just all hopeful for the start of the season. They come in, they play their opponents well, and I think it's a really good event just to bring out fans to Rec Hall as well and kind of celebrate the start of their Big Ten play coming up.
And for Penn State fans, see a lot of teams you wouldn't see often. First time these two are meeting in 31 years. Out of the timeout, Taylor Kripe, the freshman, gets back on the kill board. Her 5th, she leads the team.
Taylor Kripe has been doing her job so far, still hitting in the negatives, but she's been all across the court doing her best.
Setter Mill sends it long. Grimes diving out of the way.
A little bit of a laugh on that play. She was just happy that she was able to get out of the way.
And that's the kind of player Jillian Grimes is. She's always very upbeat, energetic. You got to be that as a libero, though.
Absolutely. I think she's a big key to Penn State morale, just keeping the vibes up no matter what the storyline is, no matter who they're playing, and even like that when she was about to hit a ball that was going out of bounds.
And Kripe plays it out. They're looking for a touch, and they'll actually give the point to the Chippewas. Penn State looks a bit confused. Talking it over with our referees, Charles Zigbo and Chuck Fleet, at the net this afternoon. They will give the point to Central Michigan. They cut the lead to 2. Top spin from Kripe, just a bit long.
Hard serve. Long serve, but very hard going just for that back line.
I wish we had the radar gun back in Rec Hall, because some of those serves from Kripe are top speed. Here goes Martin. Sky-high receive. And Raymond pushes it through the block of Hop and Lyon.
Hop did her best to get up there and put some hands on the ball, but the ball just had too much of an angle off of it, couldn't make it back over.
It's the 6th match that Natalia Raymond has appeared in this season. Had 8 kills against Michigan, and then upped her season high to 10 against Princeton. Led the Chippewas as they got swept. Jordan Hop gets a kill though.
Now the Nittany Lions, just like the first set, starting to creep away just a little bit here. Now up by 3 points, wasn't a whole lot, but that was the whole difference in the first set.
A 1 set won by 4 points. Jocelyn Nathan, who turned 21 on Wednesday. Sends it off. And Swears gets over the block of Jaravicious. Beats Jillian Grimes and cuts the lead to 2.
Grimes kind of punched that, just couldn't make it down in time.
Again, great set from Keelan Mill, doing a great job of having those longer sets. Serve backs up Grimes. Jaravicious off speed. Give her another one. Caroline Jaravicious having a great night.
She really is. I mean, you take a look at her stats, that's just her 9th total attack tonight, but she's had a kill in 5 of them. Still just 1 error.
And her sister Ava, a freshman on the Penn State side, sends it off. And great off speed from Natalia Raymond. Nothing the block of Penn State could do until check out for Jordan Hop. Jaravicious, the 5'9" freshman out of Lincoln, Nebraska. 3-time state champion in high school, 2 in the state of Nebraska, 1 in the state of Ohio. Jaravicious, an off-kilter swing, but it was a far back set from Martin. So drain it out if you're Penn State and get right back to it. They say be a goldfish, it's cliche, but sometimes it's what you got to do.
Absolutely. I mean, their lead now just down to 1.
Line to Martin, she'll go off speed. And that was a bit sneaky from the junior.
It seems like both sides are watching each other while seeing what sneaky moves work when and trying to dump them in themselves.
It's a cat and mouse game for sure out there. 19-17, Penn State up, also up in the match, 1-0. Penn State in this set hitting 381, but Central Michigan hitting 318, so much better than the 034 from set 1. Sinking serve from Lyon. Thomas pushes it through. Nathan sends the free ball. Swears out of the back row and sent back by the roommates Jaravicius and Mendelson.
Certainly have some chemistry there. Showing it off as the crowd liked that one.
Also stopping Izzy Swears, who has been very efficient tonight. That was only her 8th attack. Had 3 kills though. Kripe gets through the block. Look out on the bench. That's sometimes what you got to do if you're Taylor Kripe. Just send it full speed, and sometimes it'll work in your favor. Take a look at the replay. Getting off the side of Maggie Mendelson's left hand.
Sometimes when you hit it that hard, you just have to trust in yourself that it's going to work.
Jaravicius.
Just like there.
Look out below.
I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that, Jack.
I would not. That's why, I would say that's why we're behind a table, but we're not safe over here.
We already gotten a few
We
balls.
have proved that time and time again here on Big Ten Plus. But Central Michigan will call a timeout, so we'll step aside late here in set 2. Penn State try to take a 2-0 match lead when we come back. Set 2 coming to a close in a few points time from Rec Hall. Jack Machinsky alongside Allie Winskowski. Take a look at the Central Michigan hitting percentage. 034, now only hitting 148, so the hitting percentage has come down in these later points.
It has, but it was quite up, hitting almost already in the 300s earlier in the set. But
right out of the timeout, giving ace to Ava Faldudo, her second of the match. She had 2 in the 5th set against Princeton on Friday. Penn State had 8 kills, no attack errors on their 15 points. A really dominant final frame from them to help them avoid the upset. She'll send it long that time. That's the game you play when you're a great server. Sometimes it's in, sometimes it's not.
especially when you're trying to go for the specific areas of the court. When you're trying to go for the back line or the corners, it can just sometimes be hard to hit your spots all the time.
Martin hit the antenna. So Mill goes back to serve once more. The junior out of Yorkville, Illinois. Central Michigan rotating through a few setters, having to replace their setter from last year, Ali Korba, who's with the Marquette Golden Eagles now. Mendelson out of the middle, though. Big, powerful swing.
Mendelson really being sharp tonight as well, doing her job when she's on the court and just helping out her team little by little.
The line's been doing a great job as well in the setter spot of feeding the middle blockers. Doesn't matter off the slide or straight ahead. They're doing good work. And another roof, this time for Poppin Martin, and it's set point once more for the Nittany Lions.
That ball just sent straight down, exactly what you need when you go into the blocking position.
Mill shoving it through his Kripe. Here comes Ewing trying to end it. Play at the net, kept on the side of Penn State. Ewing finding the corner and giving Penn State a set 2 victory, 25-20. For the game against Bucknell, something that Kay Schumacher-Colley wanted to emphasize a bit more this year was getting their big hitters some rest throughout the season.
I think that can really be integral, especially as we go on and there's matches like in between just 2 days of rest, or we have matches sometimes back to back, and then now as we go into harder opponents, that rest can really make all the difference.
Taylor Kripe starts the scoring for Central Michigan. Maggie Mendelson starts for Penn State though.
Maggie Mendelson dumping it over. I feel like, Jack, that's been much of the story today, is those off speeds, those little dumps just into the center of the court.
Puts Grimes back to serve for Penn State. Powerful swing from Kripe. And beat Addie Lyon going down the line. So once again, similar to set 1, similar to set 2, where no one's going to really pull away early on. They got through the block as well of Martin and Hop, and then Lyon couldn't back it up. She'll push it forward for Alexis Ewing. That time way long.
Alexis Ewing going for the moon on that one. That one was almost out the door towards the concession stand.
And not trying to aim for the tubas either. Wrong way.
It has to happen at some point.
I hope I'm
I think
here
we
for
should
it.
test it out, the theory.
We should. Well, there is a post-match serve. It is for those 12 and under, though. I wonder if I can get in, though.
I think you should try.
Candy Martin gets a kill. Cuts the Central Michigan advantage to 1. I would like to try. I'd probably send it into the net, though. I don't have faith.
I wonder how many serves you get.
I wonder.
You would need more than 1.
I absolutely would. There's no question about it. Martin gets some pressure, and it's an ace for Kennedy Martin. So she is stuffing the stat sheet. 12 kills, 2 assists, 1 ace, 4 digs, 5 blocks, a partridge in a pear tree.
435, still in that 400 mark. I mean, she is having the game of her life.
She has the game of her life every other week, though, from her time at both Florida and so far at Penn State, making kill number 13, a baker's dozen. Kennedy Martin. Martin coming into this game hitting 294. 146 kills, boosts that number now to 159, leads the team by a massive margin. Mill, Anderson with the free ball. Ewing to push it through and finds the back line this time. So her first kill ended set 2 and gave it to the Nittany Lions, and her second kill puts them up 2.
Ewing had just enough power on that ball, pushing it towards the back line, but didn't even have to reach it completely, just out of any of the Chippewas' way.
And she knew the perfect speed, and Kennedy Martin gets ace number 2. It's all smiles on the side of Penn State, and Ariel Wilson will call a timeout early on. The blue and white already jumping out to a 3-point lead, and we'll step aside on Big Ten Plus, the Penn State Classic. We'll resume after. Welcome back to Happy Valley. Penn State on an early 5-0 scoring run. And there's not many words to quantify what Kenny Martin does and her impact on the court, but that's one that definitely indicates 61 straight matches with double-digit kills when playing at least 3 sets. So in at least 3 sets, that's almost every game for her. So every game that she's played 3 sets in her collegiate career, she's gotten over 10 kills.
She's so impressive, and she's just been such a key to not only the Nittany Lions' success so far today, but all season long. I think she's really come out as a shining star that the blue and white is needed.
It was the big splash transfer coming in later in the transfer window. Grace Thomas sends it over, but Jordan Hobbs sends it right back. She's someone that's just become a much more well-rounded middle blocker, really elevating into that starting role last year, sitting under Taylor Trammell, who graduated for Penn State in 2024.
And she's hitting her marks as well, which is, again, all you can ask is for each player to do their respective job and to do it well.
Martin just a bit far, so that ends the 6-0 run for the Nittany Lions. They're still up 3, though. Penn State hitting 5 and 4 on the season. Last year finished 35 and 2 and an 8th national title to their name. Swears. A little bit off it, doesn't matter. Izzy Swears had a season-high 10 kills against Jacksonville State early on. Gets her 4th right there. Cray, powerful serve, just getting underneath it is Grimes. Ewing, she'll get it.
Ewing may not have gotten the start tonight, but she's coming out, hitting her marks as well. Now 5 total attacks, 3 kills to her name.
She checks out. Caroline Juravicius comes back in. So Katie Schumacher-Colley rotating through her hitters. And Jocelyn Nathan also coming in. She'll serve. Right out of the back row. Great dig from the libero Grimes. Juravicius. Give her another one.
She's been so impressive as well. Taylor Cray laying it out on the floor, but just couldn't even get a piece of it. She didn't even know which direction to go.
9-5. Penn State up in set 3. Service pressure from Nathan. Hop out of the middle. Kripe with the dig. Swears tough angle. Here comes Juravicius again. She's got another one. Caroline Juravicius, her 8th kill of the match, hitting over 400.
We can talk about Kennedy Martin over and over, but we also have to mention Caroline Juravicius tonight. She has just also been so impressive, now hitting 462, so 2 hitters for Penn State hitting well over the 450 mark.
And an ace for juice, Jocelyn Nathan. Number 11 gives Penn State their 11th point of set 3. And going back to your point on Juravicius, that was something last year that really elevated Penn State into that national championship contender team when they got all the pins going. Whether it was Juravicius and then Cameron Hanna and Jess Merzick, who have since graduated. Here comes another swing from Juravicius. Just a bit long, but had to send it from the midpoint. So the Chippewas get one back.
And I think just a total team effort. We say it time and time again, but it's really just so important for either side to have success. And Central Michigan now, 6 players have kills on their side, and that's why they've been able to keep it decently close up until this set, is because they've been relying on not just one player.
Central Michigan gets an ace with Grace Thomas. The 6th ace of the match for the Chippewas. Penn State has 7. Thomas's first ace of the match. Running up from the midpoint is Martin. Thomas saves it. Free ball from Olin. Lyon tries the dump. Here comes Swears down the line. I've been really impressed with Izzy Swears because it hasn't been the hardest of swings, but it hasn't really seemed to matter.
It doesn't. She's able to find her spots, and I think she has so much power. Even if it's not so fast of a ball, it spins, and she just has so much control over it.
There's Hop off the slide. Penn State finding their groove, and they're up 4. Hannah Langton will come out, the DS for Central Michigan. Taylor Kripe checks back in. Kripe leads the way with 9 kills for Central Michigan. Raymond off the hands. Mendelson on the slide, goes off speed. And Swears shoves it through the block.
Caroline Jaravicius just got a little bit tripped up there. When the block didn't work, she was kind of spinning in motion, almost turning around completely, and the ball just going through her hands. You watch her try to throw up her hands, but it's too late.
And giving an ace for Izzy Swears, doing it all. Jaravicius tried to let it go, but it lands in play.
Penn State has had a couple of those balls tonight, just misjudging down the line, and those balls can be so difficult to figure out if they're going to land in play or not.
Line underneath it. Martin on the overpass. Backs up Kenny Martin, and nothing Alina Anderson could do. Number 14 for Kennedy Martin.
Alina Anderson laying it out again, but it was going so fast. By the time she dove, that ball was past her.
Barely had time to react. Line into the net. So Central Michigan now within 2.
Penn State now has the same number of service errors as they do service aces with 7.
The serve-receive game was something huge for them after their losses to Arizona State and TCU, something they really need to clean up on. And Maggie Mendelson found a touch on the back row, not something you see often.
Not often, but was effective. Take another look at it.
I think Izzy Swears would like to have that one back. Not putting her hand up, it probably goes out of play. Valdudo and Ewing check in for Nathan and Jaravicius. The sophomore out of Elmhurst, Illinois, serves it off. Big swing from Taylor Kripe. She had 10 or more kills in the first 4 matches for Central Michigan. Back up in the double-digit column. Takes the middle blocker, Abby Olin, the Coopersville, Michigan native, behind the line. Back set to Martin. And she's rejected. Kripe and Thomas. And Central Michigan not going down without a fight just yet.
Absolutely not, and what a block by them. They're showing that not only are they sticking with it, but anything Penn State can do, they can do as well.
Tough play from Ewing, she gets it over. Thomas off the slide, punched over by Martin, but lands out of play. It was almost a great save by the Nittany Lions, but we're tied.
Martin just kind of tried to do some self-defense there, tried to save that ball, but just way too far out of bounds.
Olin having a good run serving. 3-0 run for the Chippewas. Free ball from Maggie Mendelson. At the net, number 44 in blue and white wins it once more. She'll check out for Jordan Hop.
The free ball there almost seems to confuse Central Michigan a little bit. It's like they had a big play at the net and then just trying to tip it over instead of going for the big swing cost them.
No one was backing up Keelan Mill. Back set to Thomas. Big swing from the middle.
Thomas found her hole.
Hit 417 against Michigan, hit 400 against Princeton. He's only hitting above 250 now. Some critical points to keep this match tied. Penn State just 10 points away from taking a sweep. Central Michigan trying to extend this match. The setter Mill serves it off. Ewing with a swing. Down the line, overpass played by Grimes, but it was out of play. Martin, it doesn't matter because Penn State gets the kill. If you're Jillian Grimes, you might have to breathe a sigh of relief.
Absolutely. I mean, she went all the way to the back line, but that ball going to be well out of play. You heard it from the crowd. A little bit of a disappointment there, but like you said, didn't matter anyway.
But you'd rather go for the dig than let it go and it's in play.
You would. Which Penn State had, they've done that a few times today where they've watched the ball literally go by. So maybe that's why she made that call.
Right, big swing sent back. Jordan Hopp with the stop. Her and Lyon working together, and Penn State's back up 2.
The Nittany Lions do have some good duos going. Their team chemistry, I mean, one of the big reasons why they're able to have such big blocks.
Martin sends it long that time, though. Yeah, back to your point with the turnover, even mid-season for Penn State, with Addie Lyon stepping in for Izzy Stark as well. They've done a great job at kind of creating those dynamic duos, the team that still loves to play with each other, even despite all the setbacks. Ewing has to back up, tough angle swing. Swears, and again, down the line, there's nothing those Penn State Littles can do. Tied at 17.
Swears having a good game. It took her a little bit of time to defrost, but I'd say that she certainly has.
She's come red hot. Kind of that curving swing down the line. Grimes can't stop it, Lyon can't stop it, Valdudo can't stop it. But Kripe will send it long. So Juravicius and Nathan will check back in for Valdudo and Ewing. So that's something we've been seeing throughout the match. Katie Schumacher College just testing the waters, which one works better. And it's been effective on both sides. Juravicius and Valdudo maybe have the numbers, but Nathan and Ewing have definitely been holding their own. Swing from Juravicius off speed. Mill backs up the net. A lot of push play. The swing from Swears off the hands. Here comes Juravicius. Found the line, found the coffin corner, Caroline Juravicius. Once again, finding the hardwood, her 9th kill of the afternoon.
And a long rally at that one. I'd say it's one of the longer rallies we've seen in today's match so far, but she was able to find it down the line well inbounds.
At the net, pushing it for Raymond. Good dig from Nathan, but it gets lodged in the ref tower.
You don't see that every day.
You couldn't do that if you tried.
How many tries would that take?
Too many.
No, you couldn't do that again.
Like you see that like when you get the wedgies in basketball,
yes.
like when you get it.
Yes.
That's rare.
There's no way you could plan that.
You see something new every day. Straight down, Abby Olin. Using every inch of her 6'3" frame there. Once again tied.
Back and forth, just like the first 2 sets, Jack. I mean, we said that was telling for the third. Looks like the Nittany Lions were pulling away, but it's been the same story all match long.
Juravicius recycled. Martin out of the back row. Nathan's under the overpass. Hop on the slide. Nobody on that back line. Again, despite Central Michigan hanging around, Penn State's had the advantage for now in set 3.
They have, and Jordan Hopp, I think, has had plenty to do with it as well. She may not be the leader in the numbers, but she's been pushing it down when it matters and just helping her team inch along and keep the advantage.
Tough serve from Penn State. And off speed doesn't matter from Natalia Raymond. Her 7th kill of the afternoon. Once again, deadlocked.
Natalia Raymond looking really sharp there. She was also on the Polish national team in the 23 summer.
Also from the same hometown as another member of a Polish national team on the men's side, former Penn Stater Michal Kowal.
Interesting.
So, again, Penn State Classic finds a way to have all these interwoven connections. Crazy how it turned out. Swears to serve. Martin, big hack. Kennedy Martin, number 16 for her, hitting over 402. Doesn't matter how many swings she takes.
Central Michigan just really can't stop her. Now 31 total attacks from her, still just 3 errors.
I think every coach we've talked to has said if you have a good hitter, it really makes all your other problems go away. And proof is in the pudding with Kennedy Martin. Lyon, Mendelson out of the middle, Grimes, great dig. Here comes Jaravicius off the hands. Raymond got it through the block.
The determination there, just constantly keep swinging, having to fight tooth and nail for that point, but Central Michigan tying it back up.
Princeton out-hit CMU 293 to 126 yesterday. They're hitting 440 in this set 3. Lyon for Martin. At the net, great dig from Swears. Raymond got it through the block on the midpoint, and the Chippewas have the lead.
It's like Central Michigan just gets better and better the longer they play against the Nittany Lions. We said it before that playing to a high-level team can make you better, and we're seeing it firsthand.
And Katie Schumacher-Cawley's going to call a timeout. We'll step aside. Set 3 coming to a close soon. It's getting very interesting in State College. Don't go anywhere. Penn State recently called the timeout. Central Michigan up 22-21 on the Penn State Nittany Lions. They're down 2-0 in set number 3. Jack Bertinsky alongside Allie Winskowski. So glad you can spend your Sunday afternoon with us as we conclude the Penn State Classic. 3 games in 3 days. Penn State took it in 5 over Princeton. Central Michigan lost to Princeton in 3. Caroline Jaravicius gets the kill as Penn State tries to finish the job against the Chippewas.
And Penn State, like you mentioned it, they won the first set. That's pretty common for them. They win it 80% of the time, and when they do so, they go on to win the match 94% of the time. But like you mentioned it, Chippewas making it interesting.
Baldudo float serve. Kripe big swing into the net. No harm, no foul. Baldudo gonna set for Ewing. Tough angle and got it on the back row. Was able to beat Raymond out of the timeout. It's back-to-back points for the Nittany Lions. They're 2 away from taking a victory. And Central Michigan will call a timeout.
That ball so hard hit, it was falling fast. The Chippewas did get a hand on it, but it didn't matter anyway.
We'll take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Rec Call. Quick break, but glad you're able to stick around with us. Look at the schedule for the Central Michigan Chippewas. Up next, MAC play. MACtion volleyball begins against Northern Illinois on Thursday, and then playing on Friday against Western Michigan. Toledo, Bowling Green, and Eastern Michigan. We mentioned them earlier. The only MAC team Penn State has not played in their history. That one's on the house for any trivia lessons later. For Penn State, Big Ten play begins on Friday against USC. Then it's UCLA on Sunday the 28th. And then a big one against Nebraska. Rec Hall's been sold out for months for that game. It's going to be a big one.
It really is. I think just for either side, this has been a good test here at Rec Hall and how the rest of their schedules, as we get to harder and harder opponents, is going to look.
So as typical near the end of matches at Rec Hall, Mo Bamba plays. Of course, with the white out in a week here at Penn State. Everyone getting fired up for that. Faldudo sends it off. Penn State trying to finish the job. Central Michigan trying to extend the match. Chippewa's crashing into the table. Mendelson out of the middle. And it's match point for the Nittany Lions.
Mendelson sent that ball down hard. Chippewa's fighting for that point. Hitting a ball out that may have been out of bounds, but it'll be a costly one.
Maggie Mendelson, 9 kills, no errors, hitting .692 with 5 blocks. Push through, and it's out of play. Penn State takes a sweep over the Central Michigan Chippewas. A gritty match, but they survive. Ariel Wilson, green card in hand. They're going to look and review just to make sure.
You may as well.
Might as well.
You see that a lot. I'd say that's pretty common at the end of matches. If there is a play that is anywhere near questionable, they're going to take a look at it because you have nothing to lose.
Saw that against Bucknell. You and me were on the call for that, and same thing. Jeremy Young called the challenge on match point in a game that ended up being a sweep for Penn State. They didn't win the challenge. Figured why not? Looking for the hands of Kennedy Martin.
Hard to tell.
It's close. She flicks it to the left.
Is it enough to overturn?
Yes,
though?
that's kind of the magic word now, is upheld.
Yes.
Because that's kind of the substitute for inconclusive evidence. It's the call on the court that usually stands.
If Penn State holds on through this call, they'll remain perfect against Central Michigan.
It would be a 4-0 run to end it. Be a 4-0 run for the Nittany Lions.
They're taking their time.
Yeah, they are taking their time.
It is hard to tell. Looking back at that replay, I mean, the angle of the net just a hard one. As it is the best angle, but you can't really tell with the fingertips.
Yeah, they also have additional angles that we can't see in the broadcast we don't have access to. So they're looking at it every which way. There's another look at it from the opposite angle. Martin's hands come down, but I don't see any contact.
I agree with you, Jack. I think it was close, but I don't think there is conclusive evidence to overturn. We'll have to see, but I don't see any motion from her fingertips.
I'm trying to put on my official hat, which hasn't been good this year. I wish I was a bit better. But
that's why we're not out there in the blue shirts.
That's why we have Charles Zigbo and Chuck Fleet looking at stuff for us.
And again, taking a long time on this challenge.
No one's left just yet.
Everyone's on their feet.
Yeah, they're waiting. Penn State coming back in this set, hitting 400. Central Michigan's 387. We're awaiting the call. Survey says no touch. Penn State does in fact hold on for the victory. They take it 25-22 in the final and third frame, and Allie, Penn State goes 2-0 on the Penn State Classic this weekend.
If you're the Nittany Lions, that's exactly